Hello everyone, Pockets here, back again playing some more EVE Online. Once again on Kurst for a quick update on what we're doing with this series. As you can see, Kurst is sitting in a nice new ship, and we'll talk about this before we get into the meat of this episode. So, as a reward for finishing up the series by running a level 4 mission on an alpha, purely free to play, I decided that I would lift the ban on my Omegas supporting Kurst, and I got him a shiny present. So Kaltorin bought him a Stabber Fleet issue. It's a nice expensive little cruiser. Fit is what I first come up with. It probably needs some tweaking, but it should do fine for what I'm going to do with it. So we'll just quickly go through the fit. So in the highs we have 5 425mm Scout Artillery autocannons, so autocannons. A Republic Fleet large capacitor battery, 1 adaptive invulnerability field 2, Pitham C-type medium shield booster, and a 10 meganewton monopropellant enduring afterburner. This keeps us, between that and this, keeps us nice and cap stable, which while it's not important for what I intend to do, it's kind of wanted for me. 3 times gyro stabilizer 2s, Type D restrained capacitor flux coil, and 2 tracking enhancer 2s. Here's our, so we're omni-tanking a bit, so we have an EM screen reinforcer 2 and a thermal screen reinforcer 2, and then a projectile collision accelerator. Because autocannons already shoot fast, I figured get a tiny bit more alpha might help. And there we have it. So we get about 320 DPS if we simulate this. Not a terrible tank, not great, but it moves pretty fast, so that should help. And what we're going to do is I'm going to move to Serpentis base, and we're going to run refuges and hideaways and look for those escalations, the narcotic warehouses. I want to try it in this ship, and I'm doing this as a way to make money while I do some training. So I'm going to undock, and we're going to kind of head towards a home system. That's not going to get us there. Let's do it this way. Stop off here, which is one of my favorite systems in the area, Malevelon, for doing these sites. Can I search? That'd be great. Set destination. And we're going to go here as sort of our end point. Start, add waypoint. Excellent. So we'll get in space and we'll start talking. So, Kurst successfully ran a level 4 mission in his Maelstrom, which was kind of what I set out to prove. But I learned a few things along the way. 1. As far as I'm concerned, Minmatar aren't the best race to be doing missions with. I liked playing with the autocannons, and I liked playing with all that stuff, and the autocannons and the artillery, but it just seemed to be less effective. Now, with proper training, if we got a bunch of our skills up to 4, we might have a better chance at it, but the lack of micro jump drive to get out of trouble, some of the fittings I seem to be hard to fit with a decent amount of cap on Minmatar ships despite using capless weaponry. So their general cap is a little lower than some of the other races to make up for the fact that their weapons don't use capacitor. And so that kind of hurt a little bit, it felt like. And unless I'm going to go straight to a Maelstrom, which is going to require training Galente, and even with the Maelstrom I'm probably going to need very decent skills to make it work. My thoughts on the matter are, if you plan on doing missions on an alpha, especially level 4s, going Galente or going Kildari would be a better bet. Drones and missiles are really good for missions because you have much more flexibility in your damage selection. So you saw sometimes we struggled, especially against kinetic. None of the close range, high DPS ammo actually focused on kinetic. They all did a little bit of kinetic, but it was always a secondary. And while we could work with that, being able to choose the missiles or the drones specifically for the rats should help. Also, we had a lot of trouble tracking even with autocannons in close range, and when we did get close enough to track, or get in range to track, we were pretty and do a lot of damage, to track and do damage. We were close enough to take a fair bit of damage from the incoming DPS. So there are some missions where I doubt Kurst could run them. I would think maybe a blockade, if you get one bad trigger pull, would be a little hard in that ship, and again without good skills maybe hard in the Machariel, maybe not. So going alpha on a Kildari or a Galente line and getting into a Dominix for the Galente or a Raven for the Kildari will give you a little more flexibility. You don't necessarily need to fit a micro warp drive because you're going to use heavy drones on the Dominix, and you could do cruise missiles, or you could do what I think would be cool is like a rapid heavy missile Raven for an alpha. because then you can get T2 launchers, kind of like my Rattlesnake, except without the drones. You can get T2 missiles that way and have a little bit more application, might help. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So for Kurst for now, I'm going to run these Serpentis sites because that's what I'm comfortable with. I need to build up some ISK because I'm at 3 million. And I'm going to start training Galente. Right now I'm going to do cruisers to 4 so we can maybe start working towards a Vexor as well. I don't think this Stabber is going to have much luck, just the way I fit it and the way it is with my skills in event sites, but we're going to try it. But I'm going to train Galente up to battleships, and I'll probably work on cruisers up, or Caldari up there as well, and work on getting him into a Dominix first, and then into a Rattlesnake once I've trained up some missile skills as well. So right now we're going to do Galente into drone skills, and then hopefully build up the ISK to buy a Dominix that he can use. Probably heavy drones. I might fit some guns on this one just to see. We'll just see what we can do with this little guy here, though, in these sites. But yes, that's my thoughts. If you intend to do missions as an alpha, I would say go Caldari or Galente, either a good choice depending on whether you prefer drones or missiles. And my second suggestion would be, if you're going to continue training for missions, roll into the other Caldari or Galente and get yourself a Rattlesnake. I haven't tried a Mac. I hear they're very good. I'd like to try one for missions, but I just haven't had a chance. So we'll get there. That said, I honestly don't think level 4 missions are the best place for an alpha if you intend to make money quickly. If you want to make a lot of ISK as an alpha, there are some better options. So I am thinking of also, while I do this, I might start a second series with a new alpha, focusing on faction warfare and getting into focusing heavy on frigates and, well, maybe destroyers, but definitely frigates to start, and then into destroyers, and then eventually into cruisers once we've got really good frigate skills. Because faction warfare, as a frigate pilot, even as an alpha, has a lot of potential for making ISK. The LP payouts can be good if you do it a lot. So I think that might be the best possible place for an alpha who wants to make ISK. If you don't want to do low sec and you're not interested in PvP at all and you just want to do high sec stuff, what I'm doing right now is your second best option, I would say. That or exploration. So this is kind of exploration. You're running these sites looking for the Shadow Serpentis or whatever faction spawns and getting those escalations. Now the escalations, for the most part, the ones that I do, you would definitely want to have a cruiser. And even doing this, I still think, especially in Serpentis space, a Vexor into a Gila would be the way to go, if that's what you want to focus on. I really wanted the Midmantar to work, but it doesn't seem to be there. And again, maybe with some better skills and a little bit more bling maybe, but that's a long time for an alpha to train into really good battleship skills. You can get into a cruiser a lot faster, and therefore you can do this stuff a lot quicker. On my Omega, it took me about just over 30 days to train pockets into a decent Gila. So in 2 months, if you just grinded your way up, did the missions to start or something, grinded your way up until you could fly a Vexor quite well. So Tech 2 light and medium drones, I would say, into a Vexor. Give it a couple months, and you'd be set. And then once you're there, train into a Gila with some Tech 2 missile skills, and you'll be set. That Gila will pretty much run everything out here. Not a problem. But if you're not opposed to doing the PvP thing, I would say definitely look at getting a alpha down into faction warfare, training into frigates, and just living like that. That's my thoughts. And I'm going to try doing some missions. I'm going to train up, like I said, the Galente skills, and then eventually the Caldari skills, to the point where I can, I did pretty good actually, to the point where I can run missions in a Dominix and then eventually a Rattlesnake. But that's going to take a lot of months. So what I'm thinking I might do is actually end Kurst's series here, and we will revisit him every once in a while for an update when I get some skills trained and we try something new with him. And then I'm going to start up a new alpha, brand new, probably a Galente alpha, and I'm going to stick him down in faction warfare and get that going. I'm going to get him through the tutorial and maybe the career missions first, and I'll do that off camera. I'm not going to record that, so give me a couple weeks to get him lined up and we'll get that series started. And as I said, we will definitely be visiting Kurst here going forward once in a while as I train into things. So we'll get him a Vexor, and we'll do these sites in a Vexor to show you how that's done. Maybe try an escalation. Maybe even train him into some exploration while I train the rest of the skills needed, but definitely need to get some skills on this guy, and it's going to take us a few months to do it. So as far as I'm concerned, the series was a success. Kurst ran without very much issue. I mean, he ran a level 3 mission, or a level 4 mission, and could do so again. It's just, it takes a long time to run them and it's a little scary. So that's it. That's going to be the way we go going forward. So look forward to the new series with our faction warfare alt. I'll look forward to updates from Kurst as he trains things going forward, and that's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. You guys should definitely let me know what you think about those ideas down in the comments below. The reason to not do it with Kurst and to do it with a new alt is that I want to build a fresh skill plan. I have some very specific ideas of what kind of ships I want to, sort of the path I want to go. So I definitely want to go, probably do Tristan and Incursus as my 2 sort of flexing frigates, into an Algos because I like doing Algoses, into Vexers for anything we need to do in cruisers, and then once I get to Vexer, I'd like to train Caldari up as well, and eventually get into like Garmers and Worms for my frigates if we can make it to make enough to do those and get decent skills. The other idea is to use that as an opportunity to learn solo PvP, which I suck at. And joining Federation Uprising will give me a lot of opportunity to fly in small gangs and fleets and record that for you guys as well. But I don't want to move Kurst down there because he's already out getting close. He's like halfway through his 5 million free skill points, or more than half. And I'd still like to have a high-sec alpha for those guys that don't want to do PvP, that I can sort of show some stuff on a true alpha. Because I can run all that stuff on Cal, but he's not an alpha. He's got skills that an alpha can't train, and it's just not the same. So keep Kurst in high sec. He'll keep doing what he does. I may even bring him all over to the Malro home system and start running road and shipyards missions with everybody else over there, just to keep him in the loop. And yeah, this new alpha should be pretty fun. But we'll continue running a few of these sites. The Stabber fleet issue is pretty nice. It's an expensive little cruiser, but I decided to buy it for Kurst as a present for completing his series. And this will be what he lives in for a while until I get my drone skills up. Because like I said, I would like T2 light and medium drones for the Vexer. And while you don't need T2 drones for the Gila, because you usually want to fly that one with faction drones for the extra hit points, T2 drones are cheaper. So it'll be a while before I get there, so I'll fly T2s with the Vexer because you need 5 of them instead of 2. And you've seen me fly the Gila, you know what it's all about. If you've seen any of those videos. And that's that. So, there's our system here. This one should have some stuff, hopefully. I do plan on trying this Stabber in the new Gala sites. I did run a few on the test server just to test it out. I didn't want to do a video on that because loot drops and some of that stuff is subject to change once it goes live. So, I will definitely be recording that on Kel for sure on Tuesday when that comes out. So, like 4 days. But it was interesting. The escalation chain, it seemed a little random. With my Gila, because I was flying drones, there was a lot of frigates webbing everything down. It was pretty crazy. And I got pretty close. I got down into about 25% shield, which is pretty rare in that Gila. So the sites can be pretty aggressive. They seem to maybe respond to what you bring, so I may have to try a few different ships and see what kind of escalations I can get. Maybe show up in like a frigate and see what happens. Based on the 4 that I did, it's going to be pretty hard for lower skill pilots to do them solo. But I do plan on taking some of the Malro new guys out in a group, and we'll fly out as a group and do them, which will be a lot of fun as well. And I'll definitely record that for you guys if I can. See how that goes. And there's nothing here. So we're just going to go head back through this gate and head on towards Junsort. But yeah, so that's a pretty good update. I'm pretty happy with it. There's some changes I'd like to see. I don't know why, unless it's just a carrot on a stick, why alphas can't use micro jump drives. If anybody has some ideas why they wouldn't allow that. I mean, they're pretty powerful and they're pretty cool, but they're not something that can scale with a free account or anything like that. So it must just be having something that Omegas can do that alphas can't. That said, for a while I flew a Raven with just a micro warp drive to make distance, and it worked alright. I'm thinking doing like a more brawly style Dominix, heavy drones, maybe some remote reps so I can repair the drones. I don't know, we'll have to see. Something we can do. It's going to be a while before we're trained there though. The only problem with that is we can't fly T2 heavy drones, and you can't fly sentry drones I don't think as an alpha. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we'll play with Kurst. We'll have occasional visits with him. He'll go into the roster along with Cal and Pockets to do his things just like they do. But we'll start up that new faction warfare character, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I really, really want to learn some solo PvP, so that'll give me a good incentive to do so. So look forward to that. Until then, Kurst just needs some ISK, so that's what we're going to do. So I know that's a short video, and I think I got through all of my thoughts. I did, so it's perfect. We'll run this last site here, and then we'll call this video a day, and we can get on with the making ISK. So a little short video today, running some of these sites in a Stabber fleet issue. I've been told, actually, well, I'll talk about that now. I do zoom in and out a lot, and I know I do that, and I apologize. I know it can be distracting for you guys. I'm going to work on playing with the camera less, sort of just setting it up in a decent spot. I like showing the ship. I like looking at the ship, but I can see how the constant zooming in and out and spinning the ship is distracting, so I'm going to sort of work on that. I learned to do that in all of my games because it allows me to remember where I am and see where I'm flying. It matters a lot when you're doing logistics. You know, if I can zoom out here, I can see where everybody is, but it's harder, so I zoom in, zoom out, look at angles, move the camera around to see if people are above and below me, that sort of thing. Makes it a lot easier for me, but I will work on not doing that at least while I'm recording. But bear with me as I do work on that, and remind me each video if you see too much zooming, just remind me, hey, you zoomed a lot again, or not enough, or tell me what you guys want to see. Because I need to make these videos obviously watchable for you guys and not make you seasick. So I'm going to start doing things like this where it's kind of half-in. You can kind of see the ship, you can see what's going on around me. And that'll be my new goal for the next few videos. And yeah, looking forward to this faction warfare stuff and getting back into that, because I haven't done a lot of it since I moved back to HighSec. No Shadow Serpentis. I haven't had much luck in these the last few days. Cal made 40 million in 2 hours the other day doing these sites, which is, that's okay. 20 million an hour is not bad, but there was also an entire day where I ran for 2 hours and didn't get anything, so it's more like 10 mil an hour, but that's why I kind of like it. I like the randomness of these sites and the fact that you're not guaranteed income. So when you get those racial spawns, or when you're looting the stuff in the narcotics warehouse, which is one of my favorite ones to run. I would like to do a video on the other one. What's it called? Can't remember now. I'll think of it. Hydroponics plant. Yes, hydroponics site or whatever it is. The one up, and I will try to find one of those. You get those escalations off of the dens. My Gila can run those, so once I do get one of those eventually, I will do a video on the hydroponics plant as well. I'm also working with Cal on fitting up maybe an Astero or some other small frigate, so I can do the scan down sites and do the frigate and destroyer only holes, which are scannable. The only way to get those is scan the sites, the signatures. So I'm toying with a Astero fit for that, see how that goes. So stay tuned for that stuff on my channel as well. And like I said, sometime next week, probably after my Guardians Gala site, once I've got the tutorial and career agents done, and my character moved down into Fed Up, we'll start my faction warfare series off with a bang. Hopefully a real bang, and we'll either blow something up or get blown up. Either of those is going to be much more likely to happen very often. I will be funding, if I need to, I'll fund that character off of my Omegas until he can start making ISK. That shouldn't be a problem with the LP payouts, but all it takes is a couple bad runs and I can't even fly a Tristan anymore, so if I need to, I can transfer. Kel has about 10 Tristans in his hangar. I'll probably transfer over just to give him something to start with. And yeah, pretty excited about that, so stay tuned for all of that. But I'm going to continue this. I don't think anything exciting is going to happen. It looks pretty quiet today. But I'm going to get this guy set up in Juns, and we'll get some stuff moved over, and we'll start that. But we'll make it a short video today, just an update on the way things are going. I had a lot of fun with Kurst in that series. I do not regret 1 minute of it. Some ups and downs. I learned a lot of stuff, which is great, and I hope you guys did as well. And I consider that series a success. I'm a little sad to be retiring it, but that's why there hasn't been a video for 3 days. I've been trying to figure out what to do, and this just seems like the best way to go. We'll retire it on an up note, and from there, move into the new thing. So Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the series and this update finds you well. Again, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. Hit me up on the Malroad Discord if you want to get to a more discussion where we can do much more discussion on the topics. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Take care of each other, fly safe, and I'm out of here.